I am ZW and today I will be recreating Chuckles the Clown and some of his accessories by destroying a custom Chuckles made by a talented seamstress from Peru. Yes, I need to borrow the outfit to modify it because sewing is not one of my skill sets, unfortunately. This was made by Gabriella from Instagram and it cost me $200 and 6 months to receive it. It came with 2 interchangeable heads that you can swap with. The arms are soft like a plushie, but the body is rock hard, which I assume is necessary to screw these boots on, but they cracked for some reason. The buttons are not accurate, gloves are not smooth, and his butt is too big. For the heads, they do look decent for a handcrafted piece to be fair, but the eyes were not sanded smooth. I guess she's not a fan of sanding either. His hair is too dark and it's too much like hair, if that makes any sense at all. And I'm pretty sure one head is bigger than the other. Well, that's where I come in to fix all of the issues digitally, again by borrowing a 3D model made by the talented artist Ramon Ruiz from Spain. Wow, this is turning out to be an international collaboration. Ramon has made a very beautiful digital version of Bonnie's room, and it's only $10 on Sketchfab. There are so many toys you can print, and the one I will be borrowing is Chuckles. After you purchase his files, you can import the room into Blender and search for the specific model that you want to retrieve. Delete the rest and you can export Chuckles out as an OBJ, then you can import the new file into ZBrush for editing. And it looks amazing. It's not the most accurate, but it's a very nice starting point which I really appreciate. First thing out of the bat, the head should be an oval. And I thicken the lips, reposition it on our new oval shape, and replace the nose with a perfect sphere. Carved in the lips, and that's all I want to do for now. Let's deal with the other part, like the body shape. I have no idea how it's possible to attach a soft body between a hard head and the hard shoes without literally squishing it, right? So I'm sacrificing functionality for aesthetics and opting for a hard body. But it's okay, I will be keeping the soft arms from our custom, so this is just a placeholder. I blew air into the gloves to make them fatter, then twisted the fingers to make them rest as naturally as possible. As for the shoes, the basic shape is already there, I just had to make it bigger and rounder. Then I added a flat rectangle for the shoelaces, which were essentially just long cylinders duplicated 2 more times. I plan to use real strings for the buttons, so I will need holes to put them through. What I did was to open Photoshop to determine the position of said holes, then export them out as alphas, which are white circles with black background. This will help me find the right position, and once I have them in place, I use them as a guide to insert cylinders through the buttons and dug out the holes. Now you are an expert in digital button making. I especially love making damaged replicas, not because I'm a sadist, but because it has to be damaged in such a specific way that it's so interesting, but you can also get away with some inaccuracy because it's supposed to be damaged anyway. Speaking of inaccuracies, we can no longer avoid the hardest part, which is the face. There's not a lot of references for the 2 expressions, but I will try my best, okay? Starting with the easiest part, the ears. Just 2 spheres merged into the oval. And to help with the general positioning of his features, I decided to use the hair fibers from the original model, which was funny because people were genuinely concerned that I would print this hair out when I posted the final image on YouTube, which was 100% my fault. I assumed that people would understand what this is, but then the lack of faith in my obsession with accuracy is kinda disappointing. Anyway, I found that the best way to deal with the eyes would be to remove an oval shape from the bigger oval shape. It's just about the size of the oval shape and the depth of the remover. And the eyebrows helped a lot with the positioning, together with the eyeballs. After many adjustments that were cut for your enjoyment, we moved on to the eyelashes that were probably not so prominent in the movie, but I wanted to have a good outline to paint them better. Before we move to the set phase, I wanted to figure out how I want to do the hair, because I was thinking that I could cut the head in half and have a magnetic swappable face, but it didn't really make any sense because they have different hairstyles. So I went ahead to dig out 2 holes for the gluing of the hair. Now that all of the features are done, we can just pull his mouth down, pull his eyelids down, and give him a rectangular eyebrows to make him sad. Sounds a lot simpler than it actually is, but I just want to print it out, so let's prepare for printing. In my previous Mr. Potato video, we had trouble slotting the parts in. Now we know we need to make the hole bigger and the pole smaller. Hopefully it works. Then it's the same old story. We need to save money, so I'm going to hollow all the parts, drag them into lychee slicer to generate supports, and we can finally print. 8 hours to print so many models. Boy do I love the Mega 8K. I removed all the parts from the build plate easily, and oh, my gloves broke. Be right back, I gotta pee. Previously, I had issues with supports removal and people were suggesting soaking them in hot water, so I'm gonna try it. It does make the supports a lot softer, which is encouraging. However, there seems to be a little mishap and some supports made its way into the mouth and got stuck, sadly. The hot water does help, and I really love removing the supports like this. It's very satisfying. But you can see that the markings and the holes are still present, so I don't know if that's the way to— oh shoot, I forgot about the buttons. Ah, damn it, that's fine. We can just print it now. I use the Phrozen Aqua Grey 8K resin because it's the most reliable, and I have yet to fail printing with it, so there's really no reason why I will try other brands because there's no time for failures. And here comes the exciting part, test fitting. And it went in smoothly, stays on tightly, wonderful. Same goes for the head sculpt. I think they look better than the old ones, but like I've mentioned, there are a lot of flaws we need to deal with, like the missing lips and the various markings from the supports. It's good that we have Sandy with us. It's what I would love to say, but she doesn't satisfy my needs any longer. She's just too high maintenance, man. Changing batteries like changing clothes. I'm afraid I have to replace her soon. Moreover, there's a lot of areas that Sandy couldn't reach, like in between the lips, and I had to hand sand it like in the olden days. The shoes are okay since most of the supports were below, and of course I'm going to ignore them. The body as well, since it's going to be covered with cloth, I'm just going to remove any potential protrusions that might damage the clothing. The problematic ones are the gloves, because there's a glaring hole here and many little holes on the faces, not to even mention the scar on the lips. The best way is to use UV clay because it cures after a few minutes of shining with the torch, which would make total sense if there's just a few holes, but with this many, my hands are dying, man. So I just filled the holes up and threw them in the curing station until they are ready. While we wait, let's appreciate our supporters. We have 2 new patrons, Ron and Mr. Paddix, and a new YouTube member, Nathan. Thank you for joining our community and keeping this channel alive. If you would like to see more creations made in the future and you are able to contribute, please click the join button to claim your loyalty badges and your exclusive emojis. So we have created something and made it perfectly smooth. Now we need to balance things out and destroy something. By spreading his legs and screwing, I mean unscrewing his shoes. My god, how long and deep is this inside your body? Damn, that's a long screw. Nope, only halfway there. Great. I'm so glad that she used hot glue for most of the gluing because it's easily removed without damage. The orange dots were hand painted on and it actually seeped through the cloth onto the enormously round body. It's like, wow, double the size of my 3D printed body. Yo, you fatty! Screw you! I'm so entertaining, I wonder why I have no friends. Obviously, the outfit is too big for my body, and as you can tell, the cloth is really thin, so I had to paint the body white so that the yellow isn't too dull. And to make the body fluffier, I stole some fluff from a certain pink bear, wink wink, and stuff it into the outfit. I just used fabric glue and stretched the cloth as far back as I could so that it's more fitting. And instead of modifying the overalls, I took the simple way out, loosened the bottom and stretched the extra cloth to the back, because if you are a true ZW fan, you know that I don't care about the back. And truly, the back is an abomination, but it's okay, out of sight, out of mind. I poked some holes for the shoes, added more fluff to make him nicer to squeeze, and it's time to remove his gloves. I have to say, Gabriella did a really good job on the sewing, but I did notice that the front pocket is too big and the seams are not accurate, so let me demonstrate my amazing sewing skill. Luckily, it's also glued on with hot glue, so no permanent damage, just some cleaning up will do. I cut the pocket and folded it to the size I wanted, glued it on, and with my pathetic sewing skills, I followed the patterns as closely as possible. All I can say is, I tried. Okay, before we paint, the buttons require some attention. I was really unprepared for this and didn't purchase the right colored strings. So I'm going to desperately dye this white string with some brownish red paint. And how can we forget the tiny magnets for the buttons? Very straightforward drilling with a polo and dropping the magnets into the holes with some glue. Painting is fortunately easy because it's just some white, some masking and some red. The gloves and the shoes are also red, so thank you to whoever designed Chuckles. Orange is also a close family with the red, so it's not so bad. The strings are not very accurate though, but it's the best I can do for now. I cut the back and glued it on and it's done. The hardest part for this project are the black details. As you can see, they refused to stay in their lane, and I had to do a lot of cleaning up with the whites behind the camera. For the blushes, I used oil pastels to dry brush. First determine the general position, then slowly shape the circle out and try to balance the shape and the size on each side. And it's glossing time. This would usually be the last step for our projects, but we still have the hair to deal with. And I was actually considering if I should gloss after doing the hair, but that would result in shiny hair, which is not accurate. It's always nice to see how much life it gives with just a few layers of gloss. I love it so much. Now that it's all glossed up, I can glue my new gloves back on, and it looked really great until I placed the buttons on, and it made it more obvious that the arms are too much on the sides. So I had to remove them and reposition them at a slight angle, which also helped to cover the unsightly folds of the overalls. Finally, we can glue the hair. To prevent any glue stains on the outfit, I placed it on a fat body while I glue. These are blue lamb fur, which looks like this when out of the packaging. I think the sharp ends are perfect for the hair, so I'm just gonna cut it off for the gluing. I also added more hair at the back to make it look thicker. Set Chuckles' hair on the other hand is a little more messy, so I'm just fuzzing things around, and it's really surprising how the fur holds the shape in place without any products at all. That's Chuckles for you, interchangeable heads with accurate hair and magnetic buttons. It's always so mind-blowing when things come together so perfectly. I didn't really plan to put fluff in the body, but I'm glad I did because I love how it feels. Oh, okay, sorry. Please like and share this video so that we can reach more people, and I will see you next time.